Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, the Knight of Justice, back again with another power scaling video. In this video, we'll be covering the final stages of Superman and him at his greatest, him at his absolute strongest. I have done previous videos on Post-Crisis and Superman Blue covering their various feats and Superman's Universal Plus to low multi and some of his lower feats along with his speed. So if you're interested, go check those out. But in this video particularly, I will be covering some of Superman's more wider abilities, his higher levels of power, the amps he has attained, cosmic armor, rebirth Superman, and his overall idea or say concept of what he is. But with that out of the way, if you like the video, please hit like, share, and subscribe. Also comment down below. Have that notification button for more videos to stay tuned when they come out. But let's get on with the video. So first, we will cover the Fated State and what it is. The Fated State is an ancient Kryptonian martial arts and was a warrior tired of Kryptonian race with a psychic discipline that involved the control of one's consciousness, which allowed two practitioners to battle one another. Kryptonians' mental discipline achieved by meditating to each at the Fated State, allowing for reality warping and resistance of various attacks such as transmute and attacks of the soul. It can be used to manipulate someone's mind. Superman used this ability during his fight against the Eradicator. He used to create illusions to fight against the Eradicator while entering this state. He also used the Fated State when he fought against Dominus, which we'll also cover later on. Tokwazum Rao is an example to be the mental aspect of Tokwazum discipline. It serves as a means of focusing one's mental fortitude to combat mental attacks such as forcing telepathy, mind control, and illusion casting, making them useless against Superman. He can also utilize the fighting style to manipulate someone else's mind and project illusions into their psyche. Superman had used this to place passive psychic barriers into his mind to keep him protected from mind properties, even while unconscious, and they won't affect him this way. Tokwazum Rao is an example of the psychic manifestations of the mind of Tokwazum discipline, expresses as each other's meditation of yoga, takai, and actual combat. Superman can also use this technique to open up and let the force of the universe cleanse his body and spirit of all toxins, even kryptonite poisoning. However, the utilization of Tokwazum Rao primarily serves as a way of entering a higher state of consciousness, known as the Fated State. Examples of this will be more later on in the video, but he can use Tokwazum Rao to cleanse his body of any spirit of in-body fluids or poison. The Rao state is a state of unconsciousness beyond the Fated State that allows the spirit of whomever achieves it to attain an astral projection or astral form and project themselves anywhere in the universe. Their body remains behind while their spirit is connected to everything, able to sense things they wouldn't be able to sense ordinarily in their ordinary body. While practicing the Tokwazum Rao, Lois Lane was the first one to achieve this state. Superman utilizes Tokwazum Rao and Tokwazum Vo to block and completely dismiss the mental attacks and illusions of a powerful psychic entity and realize that it was all just a distraction. Superman utilized Tokwazum Rao to project a psychic or theta warrior of himself against the Eradicator, own version of it, and simultaneously used Tokwazum Rao, the Fated State, to allow the real Superman, his actual body, to defeat the real Eradicator. The Beta State is technically what is referred to when speaking of anyone who is conscious and awakened. However, Superman can utilize the pedal distance of the beta wave to actually do the opposite. falling purposely unconscious to the point where he cannot be affected by any kind of mental attacks, and that warps reality even from a multiversal being like Dominus. After awakening from the beta state, Superman can utilize alpha waves to direct any mental attacks or reality warping effects that repels on the mind back at anyone on the user who uses this attack, altering it wherever he chooses to desire. If Superman pushes past the beta wave into the theta wave, then he enters what is called the theta state, a state of universal response where his mind cannot be attacked nor his personal reality altered, so long as he maintains a mental reality of his own choosing, the Turquoise Ra aspect. While also in this state, Superman's instincts take over his body and move it to fight for him, without hesitation, dodging, blocking, attacking, without him actually needing to think. Kind of like Ultra Instinct or Master Ultra Instinct Goku from Dragon Ball Super. This is the Turquoise Ra aspect. The Kryptonian Theta State, Mastered Theta State, has all benefits of the normal Theta State outlined as I said before, except that Superman can use his own psychic to now attack the mind of his own opponents instead of just defending against them. He can plant illusions in the minds of his enemies, forcing them to see whatever he wants them to see, while simultaneously defending against his own mind attacks. He uses this against Dominus to alter the mind battlefield, or the mental battlefield that he made, and spread his mind of Lex Luthor and Lois Lane to a separate, and then attack the multiversal being with an alternate version of himself, until he eventually tricked him into trapping himself in an illusionary phantom zone. Dominus is able to create his own phantom zone. The Phantom Zone is described in the DC's cosmology as a boundless dimensionless dimension between being nothingness, and it resides within the God Sphere, described multiple times as a platonic archetypal world beyond the bleed, which contains all dimensions, and where it is stated to be infinite of numbers. The Phantom Zone exists at the same level as New Genesis, beyond time and space. The Phantom Zone also exists on the same level as Heaven, which is beyond time and space, and contains platonic shapes. Now let's cover Boom Tube Amp Superman. But what are boom tubes? Boom tubes are basically portals that amp your sides along with your power when you walk through them. They are typically used mostly by the new gods of Apocalypse and New Genesis. The God Sphere and the realms within it dwarf the actual size of the regular multiverse and the universe within them. For example, we see that Libra, when he was tapping into his power siphoning device, he literally outgrew the multiverse and appeared in Apocalypse. In Final Crisis, when Darkseid was falling, his entire shadow was covering the entire multiverse. So a boom tube would make, for example, a human who is regular size a larger size when he walked through a boom tube. They would dwarf the universe or the multiverse they were in. Or for someone who was more powerful than a regular human like Superman, he would also equate to these like changes. But how powerful would this universal size Superman be? Well, for example, Superman has fought against Siva alongside Orion when he was amped. After going through a boom tube, and Siva was going to destroy all of creation just by dancing, and they eventually defeated him. Superman fought against Scott Free when he was merged with the anti-life equation, which is equal to the source. Superman was able to fight and overwhelm Soulfire Darkseid, who was millions of times stronger than true form Darkseid, who the source repelled to exist alongside or with Highfather. Darkseid was ending all of existence during one of his fights when he defeated Highfather. Darkseid was established as being capable of ruining and ruling the Source, and as being the twisting it as their very hearts of existence during one of his fights with Orion, where they were both becoming everything and Darkseid began violating the Source. Their fight corrupted the entirety of the Source, and Orion was capable of doing it again by himself while becoming one with the Source. Orion even stated that Darkseid would have gone to destroy the Source itself. And since the Superman scales since Superman is able to fight against avatars or dwindled, shrunken down versions of Darkseid, and he's able to fight against universal size version of Darkseid, along one that was Soulfire, and a being like Siva, and capable of keeping up with Orion when he was also at this size. It pretty apparent is shown just how insanely powerful this version, or this amp version of Superman really is. Now let's move on to Cosmic Armor, which I personally am excited about talking about. The Thought Robot, or Cosmic Armor, is the direct embodiment of the story of Superman itself, or the concept of Superman, and the creation of the Overboy. When the Monitor Mind and the Overboy first noticed creation, it encountered the story of Superman, which began to infect it rapidly. It was stated that the Monitor had no defense against it, so it sealed it up with divine metal, which would ultimately become Cosmic Armor. The mystery of a silent sentinel haunt monitors, infects the intelligence with legends of this sentinel, takes roots in stories, and spread unchecked. After extreme study and circles of the monitors makes it equivalent, it can only be a weapon, a doomsday machine engineered by a genius to defend them against the ultimate evil, Dax Novu, or Mandrak, the first son of the Monitor, the bravest of the science of gods, who wrestled the angel of contamination, who brought knowledge and riches to the bleed, who gave his life to chain the beasts in darkness, and knew the day of Holocaust would come again. Deep within the saints of Mandrak, there is the restless string in the plague pit. The prime eater of life, since its freedom and unstoppable countdown to cosmic revelation has begun. The Dark Monitor threats to destroy all of creation. Ultraman reads the final page of the Book of Infinite Pages. Wit him states he found something greater than himself, saying that there is a God and he hates all of us. Wit he builds a bridge from the great void into the multiverse, crawling up from the darkness to feed on the light. With the book telling him his name is Mandrak, and all life shall kneel before him and die. In order to activate the Thought Robot to stop Mandrak, Superman and Ultraman were merged together, with Quantum Superman saying, "Duality, there are no duality, only symmetry," which is the reason why Ultraman and Superman were needed. Captain Marvel tells Captain Atom to remind Superman what the book said: ultimate evil is ultimate good. The most despite will save the most beloved. As they were merged, hate crime meets selfless acts, with them merging, fusing the symmetries, and saying only Superman can save the day. Once the Thought Robot is activated, within him awakes and everything rings like cosmic alarm bells. From a direction that has no name comes a sound like breathing. The whole continuum trembles as if it was crumbled. and that there is a presence as if he could reach out and touch something immense beyond understanding. He is so large he can literally hold Limbo in his hand. Dax Novu's final gift before he was lost was this living weapon, his greatest invention, an invention capable of adapting instantly to encounter any future threat with only one purpose: to protect us all, to protect all of existence against the ultimate threat. Being inside of a self-assembling hyperstory and trying its best to destroy him, with him fighting against the dark mind or Mandrake, and his only purpose is simply to stop him. They fight in a ruined utopia, in a wreckage of dreams. Civilizations fall and they still fight. The stronger Mandrake became, the stronger Cosmic Armor became, which each one opposite each other, again and again. After an incredible battle, Cosmic Armor finally defeats Mandrake, with him saying, "You were Dax Novu. You were the best of them," with Mandrake saying, "No," and being pushed and falling into the overvoid, already forgotten. Mandrake is so powerful that he was a threat to all of existence and the multiverse, and Grant Morrison saying Mandrake is the bad side of every concept developed, and Cosmic Armor is the good side of every concept, along with being a being of pure thought. So, how strong will Cosmic Armor be, or the thought robot, since he scales to a being that's a threat to all of existence? Well, let's scale into the rest of the cosmology. While people often have their own doubts, the God Spirit is shown multiple times to be beyond the concept of time and space. Using the map, several things have been referenced to this point. The Spirit of God is beyond the bleed, which contains all dimensions. In the God Spirit, Olympus is stated to be beyond time and space. One of the gods of the 13 heavens is stated to reside in a place that transcends places, on a day that transcends days, or transcends place and transcends day. Both of these places are in Skyland. The Phantom Zone, as I said before in the video, is described as being beyond the dimensionless, boundless dimension between being and nothingness. Hal has crossed a distanceless and timeless barrier which entered the Phantom Zone, which is shown in the map to be in the underworld. Heaven is stated to be beyond time and space, in which hell is the same size as heaven. New Genesis and Apocalypse are beyond the boundaries of time and space, where no words in the human language can describe this place, that it has no place, and this time that has no time. The dreaming and the nightmare reside in the space beneath space, and space beyond space. Tying in with the new gods of Apocalypse and New Genesis are said multiple times to be powerful living ideas in platonic form, archetypal world, and living platonic shape reside within heaven. There are said to be an infinite amount of limbos and an infinite amount of heavens and hells. Hypertime is pretty easy to understand. Hypertime is like 3 temporal dimensions, like time beyond time, applying to be encompassing even the God Spirit. There also exists in the Briffold interval, which is the space between space and the time between time, the physical manifestation of hypertime abstraction. Comic Book Limbo. Comic Book Limbo is a place where forgotten characters end up and what matters and memories breaks down. Even on the level above the God Spirit, nothing ever happens or has any meaning, and time and space stories don't and cannot even exist. All of existence is a non-existent story in comic book, in the books of infinite pages written by a dead monkey.
The Monitor Sphere is a higher realm where things that were massive in limbo are now considered insignificant or tiny. A world where scales, space, and time exist on a higher level, where everything is more profound and meaningful, where forms and meanings surrender to the overvoid, and narrative crystallize around, and dense walking among primal forms and fundamental world. Alpha resides infinitely beyond everything to this point, with the source or creation being beyond its encompass. Now for Cosmic Armor. Cosmic Armor fought and mortally overwhelmed Mandrak. Well, they fought pretty relatively. Mandrak was overpowering Cass, and then Cass was eventually defeated Mandrak. But either way, both of them were constantly adapting to each other and surpassing one another. Mandrak was going to destroy all of creation and held all of existence in his hand. So, off of this, they would at least scale really high into the cosmology. So, not to be underestimated, I should say. But I'll let you guys decide how high this would be. This, for what I say, is at least high into 1A. Well, I can see high 1A.
Now, let's touch into a subject that is quite controversial in the community, especially involving Superman, when it involves his power and how much he holds back against people, even against his enemies. Some people say that Superman is not, say, Solar System or Universal Plus, because he doesn't always destroy a universe in this fight when he's fighting against someone on this scale. But, usually more so, he's holding back, so he won't actually destroy said place, or is more so area of effect. Superman does hold back in his fights against people, even against his allies, and I will prove so by showing statements and feats to where he has shown to be able to hold back against his opponents. Superman is consistently held back to the extent where he is subconsciously and instinctively doing it in his entire life. He even holds back in a situation where it looks like he's trying, struggling, or angry, and even held back in a race where he stalemated Barry Allen. Superman allows himself to be hurt by attacks so that he can gauge their powers and abilities to figure out ways to defeat them. Before training with Mongul 2, Mongul Sun, and Superman issue 150 to 152, Superman had a conversation with Lois about hitting someone, reveals that he only ever hits as hard as he can once, and he will never forget the feeling. Later, he reveals that he technically hit someone as hard as he would twice, once when he was a kid without powers, and in his last strike against Doomsday. Again, while training with Mongul 2, prior to All Worlds at War, they get into a fight over Superman refusing to use his true power. Mongul later tries to kill him in Superman issue 153 after they defeated Imperiex Prove. Wanting revenge for his father's humiliation, Superman reveals that he's stronger than he doesn't use his full power, meaning it can take incredible willpower not to use the power at your disposal for the sake of the lives that are around you. In the Batman Hush storyline, Superman is mind controlled by a kryptonite-laced poison ivy lip gloss and fights Batman, who reveals that even under kryptonite influence, Superman still holds back as much as he can. Even mind control, Superman still instinctively holds back. Superman's biggest weakness is that he's a good person, a goody two-shoes, a Boy Scout, Big Blue, and holds back. Batman doesn't, with the kryptonite ring and all. Batman also states that he
he holds back. He always holds back. But finally, from the 2018 run of Superman comics, the Man of Steel himself states just how powerful he could be if he really wanted to be. Powerful enough to destroy an entire endless dimension, the Phantom Zone. However, he remembers his parents and stops, wanting to make them proud, showing just how much he holds back and realizing how much power he truly has and what he's really capable of. But remembering the lessons, the teachings, and what his parents put him through, taught him their ways, it reminds him of who he really is. He's Superman. He has to make them proud. When it comes to martial arts, some may say Superman can't fight, that he doesn't know any self-defense or martial arts techniques, moves, or disciplines. But usually those who say these just ignore feats and just say that he can't fight and just that he's just a brawler, which is true. He is sometimes shown to be a brawler, but he does know some martial arts to where it's not saying that he doesn't know any at all. Superman can utilize pressure points in his fighting style like he did against Ultraman. Superman, as I said before in the video, knows and masters Turquoise Rao and Turquoise Vo in minutes. Superman has learned martial arts from the likes of Zod, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Superman also trained and learned martial arts from the likes of Mongul. And when Superman was in Cobra's body and Cobra was in Batman's body, Superman defeated Cobra, who is a master practitioner of every martial art in the world. So Superman does know some forms of martial arts and self-defense to defend himself, just sometimes chooses not to use them, but when he does, he is quite formidable. Some people seem to also forget that Superman is incredibly intelligent. I don't see why people don't even take this into account or even mention this. But that's why I'm here. Superman is considered a super genius. Brainiac is only 1,000 times more intelligent than him, who can process and store knowledge over 500 octillion beings. Superman can memorize the Miracle Machine and rebuild it by hand. Superman outsmarted Mr. Piglet, who perceives events across infinite timelines simultaneously. Superman also outsmarted Emperor Joker, who had 99% of Mixie's powers. Superman can speak Japanese, English, French, German, Italian, and Portuguese, and more languages. Superman is also a prodigy in learning quickly also. He mastered Turquoise Rao and Turquoise Vo in a matter of minutes, which took a regular Kryptonian years to learn. Superman passively takes in the memories, data, and situations when fighting Bloodshot and Riot to determine the ballistics of every bullet that Bloodshot has ever shot and the vectors of every one of Riot's bodies. Superman is able to calculate the shifts of the universe that change all of infinite points on the source wall and consistently, when successful, finds Highfather's staff. Superman instantly finds a weakness in a ship that is stated to be infinitely programmed to self-repair, taking in and absorbing all of the atoms around it and reformatting itself. So, Superman is a quite intelligent fellow. Now, let's get into some on Rebirth Superman. Rebirth Superman is basically post-crisis merged with New 52, so he would have defeats from his post-crisis era and New 52 era when they merge. I do not know how people believe that New 52 and post-crisis didn't merge into one when it literally shown and explained this in Superman Reborn. It's even further made obvious that when Superman's essence has been split to two Supermen, one being New 52 and the other being a weaker post-crisis, made him a lot weaker before Superman Reborn. I could go on Rebirth Superman, but I will decide if that will be for a later video. What do you guys think? Put down in the comment section below if you want a video on Rebirth Superman in the future. Now let's touch into the final part of the video, what I call the idea of Superman. Superman as a concept, or the purpose of who Superman truly is. I've covered some of these feats before, but I will go briefly on them, but I'll also mention a few I have not mentioned yet. So let's get on with it. Superman used this power, said, concept, or his purpose, his idea, story, whatever you want to call it, to fight the very manifestation of his own death, who repeatedly tried to use his death hats to kill Superman. Death would create a reality where a cybernetic Lex Luthor existed that knew everything about Clark Kent being Superman, a Lex Superman could never defeat, a world without Lois. This was all an attempt to make Superman lose hope and give up on himself, give up to death, give in to his own death. Superman would simply adapt above this and rewrite reality to his own, where Superman would win. Next, Death will create a reality where Ma and Pa Kent were dead, Superman's adopted parents, and aid Superman rapidly, turning him into an old man. Even so, this was still not enough, with Death saying that everything else in creation follows the natural cycle of death and will eventually die, but still cannot kill Superman. In fact, the attempts to try and kill the Man of Steel only made him stronger and more with vigor and resolve. Death would go and destroy and kill everything in creation, and still, Superman still lives on. Death would kill hope, saying that with the death of hope, so died Superman, and yet, Superman still lives on. The story or concept or idea of Superman would allow the Man of Steel to transcend death and reach an existence that makes all of creation look like nothing more but a dream. The Man of Steel will travel beyond the barriers of time and space and emotion to return home, where he would one-shot his own death. Superman would then question whether this was all a dream or an illusion or not, with Death telling him that it was not, that all of this was not, although he could believe so if he wanted it to, that everything had happened in a place where mind and matter intersect, and that Death had changed as a result of this. As the universe died, Death felt an emptiness in his soul and searched for a reason to go on for himself. He searched for hope, and he found it in Superman. As a result, Death would thank Superman and being free from his own death, so too would Death be free. Now, some have this idea that whereas I seen the story these feats take place in is just an illusion or a dream for the Man of Steel, but as shown towards the end of the comic, Death explicitly states that it's not, and that Superman believes it's just a dream, and it's up to him. Also, Superman transcending everything in creation is just an illusion from his own perspective. It's not the same as a dream to him, it's just a transcendent state to achieve. Another example of the idea of Superman, of how powerful it is a statement by Retcon Corporations. For those who don't know, Retcon Corporations are responsible for maintaining the stories within DC, and uses these stories in order to appeal the Anonymous, a race of powerful gods who will destroy everything in the Overvoid and final heaven beyond it, the Overvoid. The Overvoid is this infinite and eternal page that all of DC Comics is drawn on, even the presents. Retcon themselves have a button that is capable of wiping the page or the overvoid completely clean. However, despite this immense narrative erasing power, they are completely unable to alter the story of Superman as a whole. They are half the forced to make a copy of it, which is Milkman Man. In Superman Volume 4, Issue 16, Prophecy captures and drains the powers of Superman and Superwomen across the multiverse. He was doing this to use their powers to make him strong enough to fight a coming evil. Rebirth Superman calls on the power of hope and then says one of the best quotes in this issue that takes place. It's in these dark times, hope burns brightest. By doing this, their powers returned and they were able to defeat Prophecy. In Doomsday Clock, we will see that the very idea of Superman, or his very existence as Superman, that creation or the multiverse is formed around it. In this run, we see that Dr. Manhattan has a vision of the future, of how he may die or how it all ends by his hand. His vision, we see that there is a final standown between him and Superman. Dr. Manhattan comes to a conclusion that it's either he ends the metaverse or he destroyed by Superman. By seeing this, he goes on a quest to prevent this confrontation between him and Superman from ever happening. But no matter what he did, he always failed, with Superman adapting and overcoming. He failed attempting to get rid of him. Nothing that Dr. Manhattan did could stop Superman from ever existing. He would then say that Superman is the metaverse's greatest antibody. But seeing as Dr. Manhattan failed, Superman provides a third alternative that Manhattan didn't foresee. It will take everything Manhattan has to save the world. Manhattan destroys everything in the metaverse, with it all reformed around the idea of Superman. No matter how many times Superman exists since it's attacked, he always survives because hope is the North Star of the metaverse. In another instance, in Action Comics issue 1000, Vandal Savage captures Superman and putting him in a device that can tap into hypertime, and putting Superman in a fragment of yesterday, loops that never ends and never leads back to Vandal Savage ever again. With him getting rid of Superman, he would then take out the rest of the Justice League, with the Man of Steel gone. This machine would force Superman to live through the past, attempting to stay in these places, but all with Superman reminding himself it was an illusion, our heroic trap made to appeal to the core of his soul. He lives through several other paths, forcing Vandal to try a different method. He then sends another version of Superman to pull from hypertime to try and stop Rebirth Superman, with that failing as well. He drains all Superman's powers and trying to fry him from the inside out, with that also failing. With Superman saying these attempts only made him stronger, and his will ever more and his will never wavering. With Superman saying these attempts only made him stronger, and his will never wavering. Fighting Mongul, being trapped in the Phantom Zone, the Kingdom Come, with none of these working on Superman fully, and with every single attempt made him stronger. Until he finally was brought through the loop and defeated Vandal Savage. Another instance I want to talk about revolves around the idea of Superman and his limit-breaking adapting powers. An example of what I'm talking about takes place in Scott Snyder's current Justice League run, when the Man of Steel alongside the Justice League fights against the World Forger. In this comic run, the World Forger is an incredible, powerful being, comparable to his brothers, the Monitor and Anti-Monitor. The World Forger puts a plan in place to trap Superman in a pocket universe, with every little sunlight in a state without killing him. Other versions of Superman have been placed here, and all of them failed to escape. Superman would try time and time again to fly and escape off the planet and towards the sun to get weaker and weaker with every attempt. But despite this, Superman does finally get off the dead planet, only to just drift into the dark void of space. This shows Superman surpassing his own limits, or those put before him, since even when other Supermen failed to escape this world, they were trapped on it, and yet he did, but soon gets more crazier later on in the run. The World Forger gives Batman a choice to save the Man of Steel or kill him. Batman chooses an orbit fast enough to where they move away from Superman, killing him faster. Superman drifts aimlessly in the void until a combination of Batman's voice and a connection to his moments of his past changed him. The lanterns from his past memories become suns, and he reaches them despite their fast distance and their fast orbit. He plunged into the first sun, coming out refreshed and new, going on to the next one again and again, traveling faster than he ever had before, a speed beyond physics, a speed beyond imagination. The power of his combined history and lineage, his past and his future, the power of who he is, giving the power to unleash a mighty beyond the boundaries of imagination. The World Forger raises his hammer, ready to strike down on the world anvil and replace the old multiverse with his new one. But before he could even bring his hammer down, he saw something he never thought he would, something shaped a lot like a fist. Superman smashed into the World Forger, not only taking him out, but the multiverse he created to replace the old one. Now, let's not look over how Superman was amped by those suns, but being in those suns for a short amount of time, he was moving at a fast rate. So he would barely have enough time to be in those suns, like really. He was moving faster than he'd ever moved before. And let's be real here, unless those suns actually amped him to the point where he beat someone who's comparable to the Monitor and Anti-Monitor, well, it would have to be something more than just a sun dip by a few suns. But even so, even if those suns did amp him there, it's still an incredible story. Now, the last thing I'm going to cover over in this video is what happened in another story involving Superman and involving New 52. And this storyline known as The Future's End, which has many tie-ins, so a lot to read, but going off the main events and what happened in this run, this story involves the all-powerful God Brainiac, the strongest Brainiac, and it is explained that every other Brainiac is just a part of this Brainiac, within saying each one is an unknown instant of my consciousness. This version of Brainiac has traveled the multiverse to the source and beyond it, searching for more power to evolve as the Monitors, but was stopped due to the events of Infinite Crisis and re-merged in the New 52 reboot. He was overwhelmingly powerful, with even Darkseid and Nox Photon crediting him for his power and accomplishments. The times that God Brainiac appeared in this run, he was easily negative the heroes left, and right. But The times that God Brainiac has appeared in this run, he was easily nagging the heroes left and right. But things would change when Superman steps in and just overcomes Brainiac's attacks, pushing through them with his sheer willpower, saying no to him, and hitting him so hard that every version of Brainiac throughout time felt the punch, ultimately putting him down. Now, normally Superman shouldn't be able to put someone down or beat someone as powerful as this Brainiac was, let alone damage them, but it was through his sheer willpower, and the story would be able to overcome it. So I would say that this would more likely be a wanked or a really high-end Superman, more so his will or how strong his willpower is to overcome someone as powerful as God Brainiac. But that has been it for this video. Superman is a symbol of hope for the people of Earth, a shining star for those who believe, trust, and have faith in him. After doing this video, Superman is a symbol of hope for the people of Earth, and a shining star for those who believe, trust, and have faith in him. After doing this video, each video I did on Superman, I grew to like more of him, more and more, as a character and as a symbol of what he stands for. I will admit at first I never really liked Superman, but after reading his stories and understanding more about him, I don't care what people say about him or who he is, or how strong they think or how strong they don't believe he is. All that matters to me is his stories and the symbol and purpose of what he stands for. I hope those who watch this video, whether you are new to the channel or have already been tuned in, find a new appreciation and understanding of Superman. I do not care so much about his strength or who he can beat or not beat, but his stories, his character, and the symbol he stands for. Hope. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please hit like, share, and subscribe, and also comment down below. Place your thoughts down on how you feel about Superman. Hit the notification button to stay tuned for more videos when they come out. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.